There are creatures science refuses to recognize. If our eyes see it, if our cameras capture it, does it exist? Do you believe? Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Lost Tapes Chronicles here at Scary Stories We Tell. I am your host, Chris Dasher, and I'm joined, I guess at this point, by my co-host on these episodes.
I think I earned that. My brain is mush. I got that accolade. So
my good friend and yours, artist among artists and man about town, Maggie the Odd.
Hey, gang.
Maggie, it's season 3 of Lost Tapes. We're in the home stretch here. It's been
we made
2 seasons pretty much since you came on. Because I want to say you came on a little 1 or 2 episodes into the first season. It was pretty early on.
Yeah. It's like I guess third week of that.
Was it the Oklahoma Octopus?
No, that one I missed,
the one after
but I rewatched. It was the one after.
Yeah. You'll if you're a listener of this show, you'll notice that the intro is significantly truncated. Why is that? Oh, significantly. Why is that? Because they changed the intro to the show, and I don't know. Before we talk about the episode Zombie that opens the 3rd season of the show, which is again, this is, I think, in a lot of ways, I'm curious your take before I give my take. This is a different show now, right?
Oh, yeah, this is entirely different. This is so weird. It almost seems way more steeped in the early thousands biosphere of media intake than usual.
It definitely leans on the found footage tropes a lot harder.
And giving it kind of what their attempts of like an overarching story, quote unquote. They essentially like
you like the X-Files?
They break the rules that I want. Yeah, kind of.
You like the X-Files? It's like that, but bad. You remember all the bad stuff from the X-Files? It's like that, where it's just wheel spinning.
Were a bro, then sure, here we are at Lost Tapes.
Yeah, because the Enigma Corporation and Mulder and Scully have something in common early on, at least with Mulder and Scully, and I think overall with the Enigma Corporation, woefully inept, beyond inept, just like unable to do anything, unable to control the situation at all. But yeah, they add an underlying or overarching mythology, but it doesn't really do anything. There's this Enigma Corporation, which I guess we're led to believe in a lot of ways, and that's kind of my headcanon. And then the first 2 seasons, like you said, were tapes in an archive of somewhere anyways.
Yeah, which I like that kind of anonymity with it. Right. Knowing that these are the turds they send out, it's like, dude.
Because these people are, the Enigma Corporation, at least, again, we've watched a couple episodes in already, so we know where this is going to go. There's not really an overarching story with them. It's just that they keep showing up, but they don't show up every time either. That's the other thing. Which is strange because, you would think if they're going to do a season where they start out with it, and they've got only 10 episodes here, I would have thought the Enigma Corporation would be there in every single episode. And I don't think they're there in every single episode, which
no, exactly,
is kind of, again, why introduce it then?
They were clearly struggling to try and like maintain the found footage trope, but they needed like an easy in. I don't know. See, so this episode opens up with some found footage, for better or worse. I personally enjoyed the weird thing that we witnessed before the Enigma Corporation got called in, but it's, I don't know. It just seems really lazy now being like, well, and after that incident, they called in the pros. And it's like,
the pros in quotations.
I don't know if that's what they called in, but sure.
So let's talk about, so that's the other thing, that this season really starts the ball in this kind of strange direction. Yes. The opening episode is zombies. And if you listen to this show, we did an episode a while back where Father Malone and I did a real talk on zombies. We talked for 2 hours about zombies. So that's an in-depth look at zombies. So go listen to that if you want to hear all about zombies. But on this episode, we're going to talk about the zombies that they present in this episode, not anything else, I think. Well, we'll touch on some stuff, but you're here. So we'll talk about zombies and your zombie stuff. But I just want to say outright, the show is so fucking weird now. Like zombies is the opening.
World.
Like zombies are the opener. This is a show that opened with the chupacabra. This is not, zombies are not a cryptid.
No. No, and I know this is your usual point of like cut and dry. You're either a cryptid or you're a something else.
Right. And this is a something else.
Yeah, and it's not even a large animal something else. This is straight up. Well, and especially the way that they like pose the whole zombie aspect, because it's not necessarily like the cinematic traditional like must bite brain type zombie.
It's kind of a problematically offensive episode zombie.
Yeah, because they went the old like 1970s zombie mystery with, of course, voodoo.
I think it's earlier than that. If we're talking like voodoo, it's like white zombie. That's like 57.
Oh
like,
yeah,
this is full hate. Yeah. Oh, okay.
An episode like that.
Okay.
And it's like
okay. Yeah.
That's like the last thing that I watched that had the voodoo zombie in it, where it's like, oh,
the
that's
serpent
right.
in the rainbow is pretty good. But
Fair.
but to your point,
yeah.
It is a Haitian zombie, which is an important distinction because you have the Haitian tradition of zombie, which is a person who is put into a deeply suggestive state through the use of tetrodotoxin, which is a toxin that comes out of a pufferfish. And then you have the zombie of pop culture, which is the one that we talk about on that zombie episode, obviously, because the zombie of pop culture is influenced by the Haitian zombie, obviously, but the Haitian zombie does not eat brains. That's not even a George Romero thing. That's a Dan O'Bannon thing.
Yeah, that's quintessential on that facet of it.
Yeah, but it is now. Like zombies eating brains is a thing now. It wasn't up until Return of the Living Dead came out. Bingo. But these zombies, but that's okay. So hold on. These are the Haitian zombies, but they're also not the Haitian zombies, right?
Yeah, I was just about to say, because then it does a weird twist where it wants to be Resident Evil so badly.
Yeah.
They just form fit these Haitian zombies into Resident Evil zombies.
Well, and that's the problem is you have zombies who are, there are Haitian zombies in the house, and they're walking around, maybe at the control of this woman, maybe not.
It's Haitian. We're led to believe that, yes.
Right. So, okay. Regardless of that, there is a zombie at one point that is outside that bites one of the characters.
Yeah.
One of the hilariously named characters, Tanner Noble. They have like the most fakey fucking sounding names.
And the names do not get better. Let me tell you, gang.
Elise Mooney, Tanner Noble, and Connor Connorson. But to my point, you have the Tanner Noble character gets bit by a zombie, female zombie, and then gets turned into a zombie by being bit by a zombie who was turned into a zombie by what we're led to believe is a Haitian zombie ritual, which does not have anything to do with bite spreading or spreading through the vector of transmission being a bite.
Right. It's pretty isolated. It's more of a revenge scheme when it comes to that shit. It's like, there's a reason why you are a zombie now, bro.
Oh, yeah. And there's none of that. There's none of that here. And you think that there's going to be because that's the way the episode is set up. And then it takes a fucking turn.
Right.
And it takes a turn into, and you've already mentioned it. And this is the thing this is the point of reference that I wanted to use. So this episode comes out in 2010, right?
Sure. Yeah. Here we are.
Yeah. Which is 12 years ago. Right.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that this made me think of was 2005's Doom movie with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, because they start doing this thing 2/3 of the way through the episode where you have a POV, essentially like a body cam.
Yeah, you got the FPS scene, which is like, what?
Yeah, of the Enigma agents point blank shooting characters, zombies. And so like it's weird because the last episode that we saw of the final season or the second season of the show is the Dover Demon. And that was like a hardcore cryptid episode.
Right. It's like grandpa stopped telling the stories and the kid took over, but the kid is way distracted by video games right now. Yeah.
And so we get these like zombie characters who are being shot by these Enigma Corporation agents. And I paused the show at one point. I just said to myself, like, is this for real? Like this is such a complete 180 that this show has lost its way entirely.
Yeah, it's bizarre. I mean, it's definitely way more indicative of like what this channel became in other like shows, like revisiting 1,000 Ways to Die, because of course we mentioned that and I had to watch like a handful of episodes. It's like, man, I forgot how 2000Z that shit was.
Yeah.
And it gives the same vibes where it's like the first few seasons, if you were a kid in that frame of mind, you would assume that this was real. Whereas season 3 kind of leaned way into like the wacky heroics level. So I don't necessarily know what balance they were trying to strike, but they completely lost it in a completely different way.
Well, and that's the thing for me is the show I've always felt like had a pretty good head on its shoulders that like what it was trying to do and what the focus of the show was these cryptids. And I felt like even when it was like making shit up whole cloth, which it did multiple times,
several instances.
Yeah. Oklahoma octopus looking at you. Even when it made that stuff up, like it was still halfway compelling. But now you have characters shooting characters with guns and and I'm just like, I'm like, it just no, like, I'm sorry. Like, this is just a completely different show. And I really just don't like the direction it's gone.
No, more so in like this episode, it definitely is a stark contrast to what we've been conditioned to. Yeah. Like, I'm still blown away. This season so far, with like maybe half a point of exception, has like steered completely away from the Animal Planet aspect of it, which I always liked, even when it wasn't successful.
I mean, it's on Animal Planet. Like, that's the crazy, that's the crazy thing about this. Like, this show this feels like it's now a Sci-Fi Channel show.
Right. It kind of went that direction, right? Like full left.
Yeah. And again, like if that's ultimately where they wanted to go with this series, then spin it off to those other things, because that's a thing. But there's still, I mean, we'll see cryptids in this season. Shit, the next episode is technically a cryptid, but there are also other episodes this season, almost half, that are not cryptids. They are creatures of myth and folklore, and or things that we have already seen once.
Yes.
And it's like, I don't need to see the same thing again, that being the vampire, because we're going to see a vampire again. I just like, I understand and I appreciate that this show probably felt like it needed to grow and do something different with the narrative. But I think that this is a
direction.
I think that this is a step. I think you could have done zombies if the vector for transmission had been animals, but then you're just ripping off 28 Days Later.
Or something, really.
But at the same time, I will say, like, ripping off 28 Days Later, a very successful zombie movie, is not the end of the world.
No.
You're gonna rip something off, rip that off.
Yeah, and it fits the narrative that they actually wanted to go in. It was weird just kind of shoehorning in like cinematic zombies in with something that was like in a location that could have had a better backdrop, a better story behind it, could have been twisted in a better way, but clearly they just really wanted to be Doom Resident Evil.
Which is fine, but you can't have Haitian zombies and then bite zombies.
Yeah, just do that elsewhere.
Yeah. And the bite zombies totally, like zombies that you become a zombie by being bitten by some sort of animal or being exposed to an animal, could have totally worked with the show being on Animal Planet. Yeah. I was like, what a missed opportunity.
I know. They could have given me bite facts. I love bite facts.
But And then to go even further, the production value on this episode, especially with all of the gunplay stuff, which they make such a big point of showing, they're using the same noise, the same reloading, cocking of the gun sound over and over and over again.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one that noticed.
No, you were not. It was incessant over and over again.
Oh, man.
And the optics of two white characters going into a house in New Orleans and shooting a bunch of African-American characters. I'm not going to be I don't want to be woke or whatever the fuck. I don't want people to perceive that, but it's not great. Like the optics of it are not great.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
No. And I know it's not intentional, but
damn, you got to be dumb making that mistake.
Yeah, it's just kind of a very, I don't know, it doesn't add anything to the episode. And like putting this like weird Doom first person camera thing towards the end. It's trying to be cool. It's trying to be kind of exciting. And I don't think it lands. I think it's just kind of.
No, it was just very strange. Yeah. Especially coming back to a different season entirely. Like you're throwing in a lot of different new elements and it just doesn't feel the same.
I think it might be, is it too many new elements at once?
I mean, I know that's part of the reason why it feels so stark in my mind, but I don't know. It's really strange because the budget feels like it should have been higher than the last one. But at the same time, I think there was a lot more like finesse in the second season. And that's saying a lot because I wasn't the biggest fan of some of the moves they chose for the second season, but it seemed like it was at least, thematically sound for what they were initially going for. This seems like it's a final run and they wanted to go out guns blazing.
Literally
for this one. Yes.
Yeah. It's, again, I think you could have done this in a way that was interesting. You could have done this with survivors and their last footage and they're running from zombies that are, literally just 28 days later, but found footage. They didn't do that. They did something a little bit more aggressive and kind of, I don't know, whatever. It's fine.
Yeah, right.
This episode is not very good. I think kind of
needless to say, if you didn't catch our drift.
Yeah. So not starting out the season on kind of the right foot, but I will ask you, Maggie, kind of what is your zombie movie of choice? And what is your zombie of choice? When you're thinking zombies, what comes to mind?
Oh man. I mean, I really, really liked Night of the Living Dead. I know that's like such a cheesy choice, but
you like Night of the Living Dead? No way.
I know. Whoa, what? Yeah.
Such a classic film. You like it?
I know. It's wild. It's like it's a classic for a reason or something. But
it's fair.
I don't know. As far as like quintessential zombie goo, I mean, 28 Days Later has a soft spot in my heart because like that's what made zombies scary for me was running zombies.
I agree 100%.
Right. But I mean, I don't know. As far as like quintessential, when I think zombies, I think this. It's like, Return of the Living Dead, Night of the Living Dead. I'm not the biggest fan of zombie movies in general because it gives me anxiety. It's like, I don't know. After working in a kitchen, as soon as you see that many people in any place, it's like, oh, no, I have to deal with this.
It's fair. Yeah. I think for me, zombies... I don't find large groups of zombies scary. I find like the one zombie scary because it's really just the one you have to deal with.
Right.
Ultimately, like it kind of comes down to the one zombie. You just got to deal with the one.
Right. It's like the scene in Shaun of the Dead where they're walking to the bar and it's just the same one that's shuffling across the way. And it's like, it's one of those things where zombies for me, I don't know. I feel like, we talked about this on the zombie episode. I feel like they're just beaten into the ground at this point. Like anything else that kind of becomes popular in the pop culture world, everybody's looking to figure out a way to make it new and exciting and different. And I don't think that you've really seen much in the way of changing zombies in the last 20 years. It's more the catalyst of it. And I do appreciate that they're more of a conduit of a concept than anything.
Yeah, agreed.
But I mean, as far as like undead goes, there's the same type of mentality. Like Omega Man was a strange one where the villain was technically a zombie, but it was zombie with an intelligence, which was an interesting take, being like, well, we're already going to survive well past you. So why are you and your useless self still here type of thing, even though that had like a weird God complex at the end. But nonetheless, I like the concept of zombies as a conduit to have a bigger discussion. I think like George Romero was a really big person in that facet of it, where it's just like, you can fit zombies into most any timeline, but
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, you see zombies being used, like you've mentioned, to kind of act as things in place of other things.
Right.
And yeah, that's the joke. Oh my God, did you know that in The Walking Dead, they're not just talking about the zombies, they're also talking about the people.
Like,
yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah.
who would have thought?
Yeah, I don't know. This interpretation of zombies in 2010 is a pretty bad one. I'll say that much.
Yeah, no, it was just a target.
Yeah, well, really, yeah, that and that for me, I think is like the big problematic takeaway for this episode is if you want to make an episode about killing monsters and running around in this kind of New Orleans mansion, shooting at them and throwing them off of ledges, like that's not what this show is. And I appreciate that there's an attempt to really shoehorn that in and make that like that. No, that this will work in the frame and context of the show. And like they're really using it as the opportunity to introduce the Enigma Corporation, which in and of itself fails horribly, frankly.
Right. Yeah, I don't really like it. I like the concept that these tapes already happened. Like there's no way that we can change what's going on. It already slid under the radar and the corporation's just recording this. The fact that now there is a present entity at like the same timeline as we are, it kind of makes it a little less like eerie, I guess.
Yeah. Well, the stakes are much lower.
Very.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's like, well, now it's just a bunch of people with guns going in. And we're going to see that again here pretty quick. The same thing where it's like people with guns again. It's like, oh my God.
Cool. I guess that was the epitome of King Cool in the early thousands.
I guess.
When was the third season? Even?
2010.
Okay.
This feels like that. Like 2010 feels like a long time ago, I guess.
It feels like it. Like, exactly, like when you watch something, if it came from that era where there's a lot more tokenism, there's a lot more people filling in like check marks of like, no, we need guns, we need an action scene, and maybe a lady.
Yeah. Maybe a lady with guns. Cool. There it is. There's the ticket. See,
that's
there.
The choice. That's the choice thing,
And I honestly love the way that this episode ends. the other agent gets iced, and then they just go, all the people are gone. Maybe, who knows? Maybe they were burned alive. Maybe they weren't. And he was given a funeral. Who cares?
Right. Oh,
what the
man.
fuck? Like what? Why even give us a reason to give a shit about these characters if you're not going to do anything other than make them, I don't know. They're just there to die. Yeah. Like,
they're just expendable.
I don't know. I mean,
what were their qualifications to get in the Enigma Corp if they're going to be this bad at their job? Like,
yeah. Ma'am, please stop. Like he's putting his hand out. Like just fucking let the thing bite your hand already.
Yeah. Really. Jeez.
And it's weird because this episode has that weird cold open.
Yeah.
Which the show didn't used to have either.
No, and I was kind of intrigued by that. It was just the follow through was so bad. And also, oh my gosh, because I'm me and I always have to think of how I would do this episode. You're in New Orleans and you're telling me there is no parade and zombie outbreak? Like, how cool would that be if the zombie escapes through a parade and you don't know who's changing into the Haitian zombie? Whatever. Shouldn't have been Haitian in the first place, but I digress. I was hoping for a parade scene and not in somebody's like mediocre 2-level house.
Yeah.
Please.
Well, and that's the thing. It's again, they don't give me as the viewer a lot to really watch and see and enjoy because it's a really generic setting, a really kind of drab zombie interpretation.
Yeah.
And it seems to be all about just shooting people and having these like just really crappy action scenes.
Yeah, there was like no investigation. Like I was hoping if they were going to introduce the agency like that they would have followed through with them getting the animal facts, which would have been a whole other layer of cool intrigue being like, oh, we learned that the human bite has the power of bup. So we have to be prepared, blah, blah, blah. I was hoping for at least that level of cheese instead of just 90% of that episode being a shoot 'em up scene.
Yeah. Yeah. No
consequences.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's just a lot of just shooting and killing. And I guess when you think zombies, you think of creatures dying and things getting their heads blown off and things crawling and stumbling and fumbling and moaning and groaning. And if that is your expectation with the zombies, then you are not going to be disappointed by what you get with this episode.
No, not with this one, but also culture yourself and watch some zombie variants. There's so many more great zombies out there. Yeah,
there are actual good zombie things out there that are not this. And this is a really bad, this isn't just, I don't know, this is bad. This isn't just a bad episode of the show. It's just a poor interpretation of zombies as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. Go watch Resident Evil instead.
Yeah, go watch anything else. Go watch 28 Days Later. Go watch Return of the
definitely.
Living Dead.
Oh, I was just
Don't
saying
watch
minimal
this.
benchmark. Yeah, go watch Doom. Just do that.
Yeah, really. If you want to see a good first person scene, go watch that 5 minutes.
They at least had a set.
Yeah. Yeah. This is and it's grainy and they still haven't gotten high fidelity cameras. This season. Woof, we're off to a bad start.
It's a weird one. It's a weird one for sure.
Yeah, we're off to a real rolling start. So
oh yeah.
So yeah, anything else we want to say about zombies?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. That was just weird. That was just very, very strange. They didn't even do anything interesting with the pool table. I was hoping it would smash or something. No,
nothing. They did nothing with anything.
They introduced a lot of would be cool elements if they really wanted to go ever so slightly above.
They just have to use the same reload noise over and over again.
That was
I'm pretty sure it's just from Area 51, the coin op game.
Yeah.
The light gun game.
Totally sounds like
I'm pretty sure it's just that noise.
The fucking ammo restock number 2 on whatever free download they got.
I was expecting in the background to hear reload. Reloading.
Oh man. See, I always do the what was that? Left 4 Dead. Yeah. Oh, I hate steers. Reloading.
Oh yeah. Bill here. Bill, get Francis.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, talk about good zombie stuff that takes place in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Left 4 Dead.
Period. I mean, just
put a bow on it.
Definitely have that. I must say that's a medium that was built for mass onslaught of things.
Yeah. No, that's Father Malone and I talked about that. Zombies, I think the medium that zombies really thrive in is video games.
Oh,
House of the Dead, Resident Evil, Dead Rising,
man.
Dead Island.
House of the Dead stole way too much of my money.
House of the Dead's fucking great. House of the Dead is just
what was it? The Typing Dead was the
Typing
Dreamcast
of the Dead.
One?
Oh yeah, with the keyboards.
Still can't spell.
and the character models have Dreamcasts on their backs. It's amazing. Yeah, if you've never heard of Typing of the Dead, it's what everybody wished Mavis Beacon was, and it wasn't. But you could play this and learn to type just as well, as far as I'm concerned.
Dude, best learning game since Math Blasters, hands down.
What was it? Mental Math, I think is what it was called when I was in school.
Oh, no, Math Blasters, bro. That was my jam.
Mavis Beacon.
So good.
Type with Mavis.
Type with
Mavis is watching you. Whoever the hell Mavis Beacon was. Yeah. Type with Mavis. Reload. Reload. I don't know who the hell Mavis Beacon was. Was Mavis Beacon a real person?
I have no idea. I remember
there was an African-American woman on the box. I assumed that was Mavis Beacon. But that sounds like a fake name.
Yeah, it does. It truly does.
Like the Enigma Corporation. One of the people who work there might be Mavis Beacon.
And Dennis the Menace.
And Tanner Noble. 3 agents, including Tanner Noble, Mavis Beacon.
Oh my gosh. And Gabriel Knight. We'll throw
Gabriel Knight, mother of God. The fake names continue.
Oh man, better characters, sadly.
Yeah, Tanner Noble. Yeah, Mavis Beacon. God. Yeah. How did we get to Mavis Beacon from zombies? I don't know. Oh, Typing of the Dead. Right.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Typing of the Dead's great. Yeah, Typing of the Dead is a classic.
That's just
House of the Dead 2 is a classic.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to die. The fucking crazy bad dialogue. Oh my God.
Oh, the fucking flying zombies can eat a dick.
My God.
I still wake up in a cold sweat every now and then.
The thing with its chest opening, the fish guy. Oh, yeah. No, that game's a classic. Are you talking about the thing where it like went up in the thing that goes, the boss with a little guy?
Yeah, fuck that.
Suffer like G did. That's what he always says. I love House of the Dead too. I don't know why that game was like seared in my memory.
Dude, that was what I did after my bowling league. It was attached to an arcade, so we would just like waste all of our lunch money on House of the Dead. That was a hard
game too. It's not an easy game to beat.
Even with a partner, it was absolutely brutal. That was one of the classic games constructed to fuck with you and take your cash.
Yep. Lycan games are like that. They want your money.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, those things.
Spelling.
Yeah, right. Those things are better zombie anythings than this. So.
Oh, 100%. Honestly, if they modeled it like wholeheartedly on the FPS that was House of the Dead, where it just kind of wheels you coaster style into a room and you just hear the same stock noise, but you're still just rat-tatting everything off of a wall, I'd be way more engaged.
Yeah, no, this is just the worst of all worlds. Every decision that they made in this episode was just real bad. Like the worst decision they could have made, essentially.
Yeah, it's very awkward, honestly, and it has none of the charm of the awkward because it's like, yeah, I mean, now that you put Doom in my fucking head, I forgot about that movie. Remember owning it because I found it at a dollar store, but
it really is. It really is Doom.
Yeah, the FPS ended up being the last 15 minutes of the movie, and it lasted maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, more or less. Like they were like, all right, so this is based off of a first-person shooter, huh? All right, we have to have the shooter scene.
But I love the absurdity of it because fuck it, you already have fucking what's his name in it, so go for broke.
Right. And again, for me, it's like that suits the narrative and that suits the inspiration for the source material. Like there's none of that here.
Yeah. Even if for the last 15 minutes, it was just disingenuous from the rip, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's just strange. Once again, we've had episodes where they don't quite follow the source material and they could have done a lot better job handling it. But this one definitely seems a lot more negligent than usual.
Yeah.
Especially for like the first episode, because
really putting their worst foot forward. A real misstep, like a genuine misstep, I think, all around. And I think ultimately the thing that really bums me out about this episode more than anything else is this is just one more episode that takes up space where there could be actual cryptids.
Yeah. Well, then we have more vampire episodes. So
yeah, we got
the bigger waste, right?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So on the next episode of Lost Tapes Chronicles, we're not talking about vampires, but we are talking about an actual cryptid, the Kraken, which is an underwater creature. So maybe temper our expectations there, or maybe not. Who knows? Maybe it'll be the only good water episode. I don't know. I don't want to prognosticate.
I'm not trying to hyperbole any expectations.
No, but I will tell you this.
Menagerie.
I will tell you this much. This entire season, it's the first 6 episodes. Excuse me, 1, 2, 5. Yeah, the first 6 episodes are aired in a 1-hour block. So yeah, so I don't know. Fun. Maybe they're dumping the show. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see as the show goes on this season if it does seem to be worse than before. But until then, Maggie, until we talk about the Kraken, where can people find you?
Well, let's see. I burnt a lot of bridges. So you can find me at the Dolan Museum, which dolanmuseum.com. You can always find my nonsense there, and also YouTube at Dolan the Odd. I haven't updated. I might fuck around and find out. You never know.
You should. Why not?
Why not? I'm gone everywhere else. Sorry, guys.
As for me, cstachiw.com, cstachiw.com. That's my link tree. Go there for all the stuff that I work on, which is varied and vast. So movie stuff, TV show stuff, you know where to go. You know what to listen to if you want to listen to it. This show, scarystorieswetell.com, Scary Stories WT on most social media platforms. Just listen to the show. That's all you got to do. You don't got to go engage. You don't got to engage in social media shit. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody want to do that, really. I mean,
just
if you want to,
FPS,
cool.
press some buttons and listen to the podcast like you're actually there,
FPS, bro.
Recording.
Yeah. Oh, my God. And we'll let our good friend, the former host of Sightings, Mr. Tim White, lead us out.
No mystery is closed to an open mind.